Sweet, Sour, Bitter, Salt. That's the story of a hopeful romantic, and it's a novel written by local author Rex Tarquin, and he joins us now to share more. Rex, it's great to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Anytime, anytime. I love the title. It's really, really cool.
Thank
Sweet,
you.
Sour, Bitter, Salt. Where did that come from?
Well, I was always told that sweet, sour, bitter, salt are the ingredients to life. And
Yeah.
as I get older, the more I realize it's absolutely true.
Yeah.
You know, you have your moments of sweet. You know, some moments can be sour or bitter, or some, just salt.
Yeah.
Because some people can be a little salty.
Some people can be a little salty. Some can be a little sweet. You can get sour. I certainly have my sour days. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Right? This is a little bit about you, right? So you are local. You're from Meriden, which is pretty cool. And tell me how your life has kind of trickled onto these pages.
Well, when I came out back in the early late 2010s, everything like that, there wasn't that many gay-oriented books.
Okay.
And so I said that I wanted to write a story that could resonate, with people who are coming out, who are trying to find themselves.
Yeah.
That you want it relatable. So I started going out to the gay community at night and making my way through, and I was inspired by certain events and just the nightlife. For Adam, he goes out to the gay scene and everything, and he meets this guardian angel named Queenie, who's this dazzling African American drag queen, and she's got this New Orleans curl in her voice.
Yeah.
And she guides him throughout while he's dealing with a mother who he was very close to at one point, but then something happened, and she just totally.
Don't give too much away.
Oh no,
yeah,
nope,
right?
Nope, just a little bit.
Yeah.
But and then you got the father whose secret life was buried with him, and then that tangles into it. So some of it is true, some of it is a mix of both.
Yeah. After all, it is fiction.
Absolutely, but the feelings of the yearning for love, wanting to be accepted, all that, that's very real.
Themes that we all have in life, right?
Absolutely,
is that kind of how you structured the book?
I did, and I wanted it locally based too, because I really I love Connecticut. It's just so the scenery is just it's the perfect backdrop. So you got New Haven, the back.
I was going to say we're literally going to talk about the backdrop right now, the back cover itself.
Yeah, that's East Rock Park. That's the chair up at East Rock Park where the character goes, and he needs that moment of silent meditation to reflect, gather himself. He goes there. He lives on North Main Street in Wallingford. The Victorian apartments. He works at the restaurant, the Italian restaurant on the corner. So everything is very local. So when you're reading it, you're like, oh my God, I know where that is. So.
And there's something to be said about that when you're reading it and having that moment, wow, this feels really, it's relatable for so many people.
Absolutely.
Not only in theme, but also geographically. It's really cool.
Right.
We want to talk about supporting local. Obviously, you have an exciting event coming up this weekend. You have a book signing.
I do.
Tell me more about it.
I have a book signing at Breakwater Books in Guilford.
Okay.
It's right across the street from the Green.
Okay.
I will be signing books, and it's from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Love it.
So I would love, for anybody to come down. I would love to discuss my book, sign some copies.
That's awesome. Absolutely. We got to get a copy. We got to get a signed copy. Breakwater
Books.
I'm sorry, Breakwater Books.
Yes.
Don't forget, 11 to 1 this Saturday in Guilford, Breakwater Books. So I also want to know, writing a book seems like an insurmountable feat for somebody like myself. This is always something you wanted to do, right?
Always, because I wanted a nice story, where you're rooting for the character.
Yeah.
He's a good person. He's got good people in his life. Sometimes you got bad people, but the good always outweighs the bad.
Absolutely.
So. It's a delicate story, and it has a strong emphasis for respect of the past, history. He loves the Victorian era. One of his favorite movies is Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Oh, neat.
He loves dressing up. See, that's why I'm always dressed up, because it's always put on your Sunday best, and that's what the character is. He's just a nice guy, and he goes through some turmoil with relationships and family drama, all that stuff.
It's relatable stuff, right?
Yeah.
Of course, you got to meet Rex this weekend, 11 to 1 at Breakwater Books. Thank you so much for coming in and sharing the story with us.
Thank you very much.
Anytime, anytime.